I used to think I had to get myself together before I could be seen, before I could start, before I could be successful. But healing isn't a deadline, it's a journey. I'll start when I'm more confident. When I figured it all out, I'll start when I'm not triggered anymore. Girl, if that's what you're telling yourself, you are literally your biggest op. You're holding yourself back. Imagine if all of the people that you love and admire so much, imagine if they never produced anything because they felt like they had to be perfect or they had to be ready or they had to be a certain type of way before they could produce anything, before they could fully show up as themselves. Just imagine. Imagine if Beyonce said, I'm not going to put out this album till the timing's right. Just imagine, right? All of the works that we would never have. Imagine all of the art, all of the music, all of the movies, all of the inventions. So many things we would not have access to if people sat around waiting until things were perfect before they could start, before they could produce anything, before they could even try. And you know what? I'm not trying to single you out. I'm not, because I've been there. I've been there. I've held myself back from doing things because I felt like I just was not ready, or I was not in the space that I needed to be, or I just was not the person that I wanted to be in order to do something. And I felt like I had to learn a little bit more. I gotta grow a little bit more. I gotta, I don't know, make sure my hair is right, make sure my nails are done. Really just picking myself apart and telling myself that I'm not good enough to start or to try or to take up space, when the truth is you're never going to be ready and you're never fully going to be confident in doing something or trying something until you actually start. Right? Starting is how the confidence is built. Growth doesn't wait for you to feel ready. It meets you in action. You start growing when you start moving. A lot of people think that you have to grow in order to start something, in order to move on, in order to do something better. But no, the growth comes from the movement, comes from the action, comes from doing stuff, right? I think I talked about this before. You can learn and learn and learn all day. You can learn as much as you possibly can, but if you're not actively doing the things, putting into action what you've learned, oh, I need to tint this lace. You're going to stunt your growth. A lot of people today, and I'm not saying everyone, but a lot of people today want to be content creators. They want to be creators of some sort. And it makes sense because we are natural creators. We were made in the image of the ultimate creator. So it makes sense for us to want to have jobs and careers in creative fields. But a lot of people get stuck in this idea of they have to have something going for themselves, or they have to, I don't know, like they have to reach a certain point before they could ever get to that. But the reality is, how do I say this? You have to just start. You can't expect to start at the finish line. Nobody starts at the finish line, right? So I need a mirror. We often beat ourselves up and over compare ourselves to what other people's personal journeys look like. But you can't compare yourself, especially when you haven't even started yet. You can't compare yourself to where somebody is at that has been actively doing the work and they've been at it for years. A lot of the time, you don't even know how long it's taken somebody to get to where they're at. But we compare ourselves anyway and say that I can't start because I'm not in the same position that they're in. When in reality, they weren't in that position when they started. Like, I have been a content creator for I don't even know how long now. I literally started my YouTube channel once I was in college back in what I want to say 2015, maybe 2016, somewhere around there. Now, mind you, I maybe posted one or two videos during that whole beginning of me having a YouTube channel. And in that time, I was just learning about myself, what I want to share with the world, learning my craft, learning to do makeup. not just on myself, but other people as well, learning different tips and tricks. I had to learn how to film. I had to learn how to edit. I had to learn about lighting. There are so many things that I had to learn, and there were so many times where I wanted to give up because what I wanted to produce and what I was doing did not look like everybody else. And I'm sitting here comparing myself to people who are 10 plus years in the game. Their work is near perfection because they have practiced it. They have learned the skills necessary for their work to look that way. And I had not learned those things yet. And there are still things that I need to learn, but I would not be here today had I given up or had I said to myself, I can't do this because I'm not like everybody else, or I can't do this because I don't know how to do such and such. I would not be where I am today, and I'm so glad that I have evolved from that mindset. I'm so glad to be in a place where I am 100% comfortable. Not 100%, but I'm like 85% comfortable with just showing up as myself, regardless of how that looks like, and at least trying to do the things that I want to do. Not waiting for perfection, not waiting for the right moment, not waiting until my technique is perfected, not waiting until I get a better camera, not waiting until I get better lighting, not waiting until I get a better computer, like not sitting around and waiting for the situation to be perfect, but just showing up as best as I can. And in doing so, I have learned so much along the way. You know what? I've been thinking about doing a series on my channel centered around content creating and how to do different things, how to get your lighting right, camera settings, all that good stuff. If y'all are interested, let me know. Because I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot along the way. I'm happy to share it if it helps somebody else. One of my all-time favorite content creators is Miss Jackie Aina. I am an OG Jackie fan. I'm not new to Jackie. I am true to Jackie. I started watching Jackie back when I started my YouTube channel. She actually encouraged me to come onto YouTube and do makeup as well because I was really into makeup. But I was like, what? You can make videos about doing makeup? I want to do that. I want that to be my life. And just imagine if Jackie had never shown up as herself where she was. Now, her content has not always been amazing, and you can go back and watch her videos. Her content has grown, it's evolved. She started out as a beginner. Like, you could definitely tell the quality was not there when she began. Obviously, she was a beginner. She was new to it. She didn't know anything about filming and lighting and setup. And those are things that she learned along the way. She didn't know anything about editing. She did the editing herself and learned different things along the way. But imagine if she had never done that. Imagine if she had said to herself, I can't do this because it doesn't look like what I feel it's supposed to look like. We would not have the Jackie Aina that we have today. We wouldn't have the inspiration. You wouldn't see so many Black women wanting to be in the beauty space, wanting to create content centered around makeup and hair and luxury and lifestyle. You wouldn't see that so much today. Maybe somebody else would have stepped up to the plate, but we wouldn't have Jackie Aina as the inspiration that we have today. So first of all, I thank her for that. But again, that's just another example of not holding yourself back out of fear of not being perfect or not being ready. Because, babe, you're never going to be fully ready, ever. Especially for something that you're just trying, something that you're new to. And that's because the readiness comes in doing the thing that you're supposed to do and doing the thing that you dream about, right? Regardless of where you are in your journey. And you know what? If we're being really honest with ourselves, that fear of not being ready, not doing things until you're fully healed or you're in the space that you feel like you need to be in, that fear is not necessarily about healing or being perfect or being in whatever position you feel like you need to be in. That fear is really your fear of being messy, your fear of being seen as your most authentic self and being judged as your most authentic self. A lot of us, myself included, and this is something I am actively working on, but a lot of people are afraid to show up as themselves because they're afraid of being judged. Either that or they're afraid of other people seeing them in a way that's like anything but perfection, right? Anything but being likable. I was going to do a full face. I really don't feel like a full face. Right? A lot of us are afraid of being seen as not having it all together. But you know what's crazy about that? Nobody has it all together. And I don't know where that misconception came from. that we have to have it all together. Because ain't nobody out here got it all together. Nobody has it all figured out. I don't care what they tell you. Nobody has it all figured out. But that's what we want to believe. That's what we tell ourselves. That other people have it all figured out, so I need to have it all figured out. And when you don't want to be seen as not having it all together, what do? Well, I don't know about you. I know what I do. I tell myself, I'm going to wait until things get better. I'm going to wait until the situation gets better, or I get better, or I change and I grow, or I'm in the right position to do whatever it is I want to do. And all of that is nothing but perfectionism and procrastination, right? And it's not helpful. It's not helpful at all. And one of the things I've been doing lately, thanks to my therapist, is challenging my beliefs, right? Does that belief actually serve me? Is it helping me get to where I want to be? Does the belief that I need to be perfect in order to be ready, or I need to be healed in order to be ready, or I need to have the right circumstances in order to be ready, is that helping me get to the places that I want to be and go? No. All right. So that's something to work on. I don't need to be perfect in order to show up, in order to try and achieve my dreams and my goals. And what's the worst that's going to happen? If I come on camera looking a hot mess and I still make a video that I felt inspired to do, what's the worst that can happen? Some people going to think that I'm not as attractive as other people. That's okay. That's always going to be a thing. Some people going to think that I'm crazy for coming on camera looking a certain kind of way. That's okay. That's 100% okay. Right? It's not the end of the world. And so instead of waiting for myself to be this perfect version that's never going to exist, I just got to show up as I am. However that may be, in whatever way I need to, right? Because if I continue to sit around and wait for myself or for circumstances to be perfect or to be a certain way, then I ain't never going to get anything done. My goals and my visions are just going to be that. They're going to stay in my mind forever, and I'll never see them actually be brought to life. And you want to know what the best thing about changing that belief, changing your mindset around having to be perfect in order to be seen, is that it allows other people to recognize that they also don't have to be perfect to be seen, right? Because you're showing up as your authentic self, unfiltered. And it gives other people the confidence, the inspiration to also show up and be seen in the capacity that they're supposed to and do the things that they're supposed to do in this world. Just like had I never seen Jackie Aina on YouTube, I probably wouldn't be on YouTube myself, right? So when you show up as yourself in whatever capacity that may be, not only are you giving confidence to yourself, but you're giving other people confidence and permission to show up as their selves. And that right there is how you change the world. Encouraging other people to show up as themselves. The most impactful version of you is the one that's honest, present, and willing. You'll be able to connect with a lot more people when you're raw and you're honest about yourself, right? In your situation, whatever it may be. When you show up as yourself instead of waiting on yourself to be healed or to be perfect or whatever this facade you got going on. When you show up as yourself, you allow people that are aligned and in tune with you to reach you and have easier connections to you. It's a lot easier to align yourself with people who are meant to actually be in your life when you are being yourself and you're being honest with yourself. And not just with yourself, but with other people as well. You don't have to always have it all figured out. Being perfect and being polished can actually sometimes be a deterrent from people wanting to connect with you. Your voice right now is powerful, even when it cracks. Anyways, I feel like I was starting to ramble, but I say all of that to say you don't have to be fully healed to be worthy. You don't have to be whole to be used. You are allowed to still be in the process and still take up space. You don't have to have it all figured out before you show up, because the reality is nobody has it all figured out. So if there's something you want to do, I say go for it. Regardless of where you are in your life, regardless of your circumstances or what you have or what you feel like you need, just go for it. You don't have to have it all figured out. At least try. That's the whole point of this video. I hope it helped you and I hope it encouraged you to really reach for your goals. Anyway, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and I'll see you in the next video.